Look, it's worms. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. It is October and hopefully it will still be October by the time I edit and upload this video. But that means that it is a perfect time to read some spooky books for spooky month. To be honest, I think that any time is a good time to read horror books, eerie books, weird books. Um, Over the past year or so, I've gotten quite into reading horror books. Um, so yeah, I've been reading quite a lot recently. So I thought, why not give you the rundown on a load of books that I have read and loved, and I think you should add to your October TBR. So I have picked out 13 books, unlucky number 13, to talk about, and I also want to go through some books that I have yet to read that I would like to hopefully get to by the time Halloween rolls around this year. So, yeah, let's make a start, I guess. First up, we have The Lamb by Lucy Rose. This only came out at the start of this year and it has been making waves, rightly so. The paperback has just come out, I believe, so now is the perfect time to get your hands on a copy and read it. This is a book about a young girl called Margot who lives with her mother in the middle of nowhere in Northumbria, in the north of England, eating what they call strays, who are people who are lost and they come to them looking for help. And Margot and her mother take care of them in more ways than one. But one day, a new stray turns up who changes everything. This book is eerie and atmospheric and disturbing. There's this creeping feeling of dread as you slowly come to realize what is inevitably going to happen. Lucy Rose perfectly depicts the psyche and this inner monologue of a young girl who is completely dependent on her mother and totally unaware that her relationship with her mother is not normal, and what she sees as love is definitely not that. It's abuse, basically. But Margot has no idea because she thinks that that behavior is very much normal. And there's that kind of sense of childhood innocence in that, that you gradually see kind of getting lost as the book goes on. I devoured this book in 2 days. I thought it was fantastic, and the atmosphere in it is just perfect as we are getting through autumn and towards winter. Next up is Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Maria Griffin. This is set in a crumbling shopping mall in suburban Dublin, and it honestly perfectly captures that kind of time capsule feeling of an old, dilapidated shopping centre. Like, you know how they feel like they're trapped in eternity in the 90s? They just feel so kind of liminal and uncanny because they just have not changed since then. It follows two women who are working in a florist shop in the mall and the sentient carnivorous orchid that is obsessed with them. That's right, it is basically a sapphic Little Shop of Horrors, and you know what? I'm so here for it. This was really fun. It has a very unique and interesting narration style that I was obsessed with. Um, I read most of this on a train, just in one journey, one kind of 2 or 3 hour journey. It was so good. Next up is Monstrilio by Gerardo Samano Cordova. This is about a mother who has lost her son, her young son, and in her grief, she takes a part of his lung, keeps it in a jar, and conducts this kind of ancient folk ritual on it, resulting in her son coming back to life. But not quite. What actually comes into being is Monstrilio, who is just a little creature. He's just a little guy. It's told in 4 sections following 4 different members of this rather unconventional family. You have the mother, you have the mother's best friend, you have the father, and then finally Monstrilio himself. This book is weird, really weird, but also incredibly heartfelt. It explores love and grief in all its forms, about growing up, coming of age, having to let go of your children. It is so well written, and so unique and original. I have truly never read anything like this, and I probably will never read anything like this in the future. Next up, we have, and you knew this was coming. You had to know this was coming. This had to be in here. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is a paranormal romance between a vampire and a werewolf. There is an arranged marriage. There's a lot of political intrigue. I actually found the politics of it all the most interesting part. Like, the world building is very original and very interesting. There's this mystery leading up to a massive conspiracy, and the plot twists are wild and unexpected. And yeah, the plot is so good. The romance isn't bad, but the plot is really good. I did not think that this book was going to be my cup of tea when I read it. I mostly read it out of curiosity, expecting to not like it. But Ali Hazelwood always proves to be an exception when it comes to writing tropes that I don't like. I don't know how she does it. The sequel to this book, Mate, comes out next week, I think. It will probably already be out by the time I post this video. But yeah, best believe I will be getting my hands on it. You are not gonna want to miss this. Next, we have Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. This book is steadily becoming a bit of a classic in the Weird Girl Lit canon, and with good reason because it slaps. It's told in dual timeline and dual POV. One narrative follows a woman who is trapped in a deep sea submersible after a research mission goes wrong, and the other follows her wife, who is taking care of her after she returns. But something's not quite right with her. It's told with a lot of empathy, and both characters are really well fleshed out and human. It's super haunting and eerie and utterly devastating. Next up, we have She's Always Hungry by Eliza Clark. This is a short story collection where the horror factor ranges from slightly uncanny and disturbing to full on gory and terrifying. There is definitely something for everyone in this book. It's just so unapologetically weird. As with most short story collections, there are one or two skips in this album, but there are a lot of really strong stories in this as well. I would probably go so far as to say this is my favorite Eliza Clark book. I think. I did a whole video last year reading all of Eliza Clark's books, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the conclusion I came to, and I'm gonna stand by that, honestly. If you heard that last recommendation and were like, okay, I've had enough of short story collections, what I want is just one short novel, this is for you. This is Graveyard Shift by ML Rio, who wrote If We Were Villains and recently Hot Wax. This book follows 6 acquaintances who all work the night shift, or they're just nocturnal generally, and they sometimes come across each other in the cemetery of their university town. One night, they all stumble across a mystery that leads them down a pretty dark rabbit hole. It's told over the course of a single night, so it's pretty fast paced. There are 6 different POVs who are all pretty different. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I do feel the need to defend my choice with this one. I know a lot of people who read this when it came out last year were disappointed that it wasn't as good as If We Were Villains. And they're right. It's not. If We Were Villains is amazing. But this is a novella, while If We Were Villains is a full novel that is about 4 times the length of this, give or take. It has the time to fully develop a plot over a long period of time and lots of characters who are all very kind of well written and very 3-dimensional. This doesn't really have that. This is a novella. It's like just over 100 pages long. And as a novella, this does a really good job of what it needs to do. It needs to deliver a compact, concise, compelling story in not very many pages. And this does that. I was entertained. I was compelled. It's so short you can easily read it in a single sitting, so it is perfect for passing the time while you are waiting for trick or treaters to stop by. Next, we have Cemetery Boys by Adrian Thomas. This is a young adult paranormal romance that follows Yadriel, who is a trans man who is desperate to prove himself to his family as a brujo, who is a male, specifically male sorcerer, who can summon and communicate with spirits. But when he accidentally summons the spirit of his classmate, together they try to uncover the mystery of what happened to him that caused him to become this spirit. The romance is really cute, it's quite slow burn. Yeah, it's just very well written, and it's also a real celebration of Latino culture and tradition. I am pretty sure there is a sequel this book that is also coming out this month. I'm getting fed with sequels. It's very exciting. So yeah, I will definitely be getting my hands on a copy of that as soon as I can. Next up is Bury Your Gays by Chuck Tingle. This is a horror novel about a closeted Hollywood showrunner who refuses to kill his queer characters off for shock value, but then he starts getting attacked by real life versions of the monsters he's created for his shows. It's a wild ride. This book discusses the importance of representation in media and the use of AI in the arts and entertainment industry, which honestly, that discussion has become an even more timely topic now than when it was published last year. The monsters in this book are so creative and so scary. There is one particular monster that it is just nightmare fuel, truly. So original and so terrifying. I loved it. I read this last summer, I think, and it single handedly turned me into a frequent horror reader. It's so good. Next up is Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fito. This is a historical slasher that follows a woman who starts a job as a governess at a grand mansion, but she's harboring a secret and she wants revenge. This book is darkly funny with a lot of gratuitous violence, which I'm not that mad about, honestly. There are discussions of class differences and privilege. The protagonist is a terrible person, genuinely, but somehow you still like her a lot more than every single other character in the book because they are just awful, terrible. It is just fun and also relatively short. I believe it's set over Christmas, so also if you want a slightly unconventional holiday read, I would recommend it for that as well. But you know, it works for Halloween also. Next is Perfume by Patrick Suskind. This is an absolute classic. This novel is about the life of an orphan named Granwy, born in 18th century France with this extraordinary superhuman sense of smell, but no personal odor to himself. And he makes it his life's mission to create the world's most perfect scent that he can wear for himself. This book is a masterclass in the unlikable protagonist. Granwy has no moral compass and just this base instinct to survive and get what he wants by any means necessary. And when I say any means necessary, I mean it. It is just so well written. The descriptions of the smells are unlike anything I've ever read, and honestly, they are genuinely nauseating at times. It is just that powerful. And also, the narration is quite funny at times in just expressing this kind of disgust at what Grunwy is doing. Yeah, it's kind of meta in that way. Check the trigger warnings. I know that tends to go without saying when it comes to horror, and you should do that with all of these books. It does kind of go without saying, but especially with this one because it gets dark, like really dark. Please check the content warnings before you start reading. This was actually one of the texts that my English teacher set in sixth form. This book was taught to me at school, and I was 16 years old. And looking back now, that is so fucked up. Like, that should not have been allowed. So, yeah, this book probably should not have been introduced to me when I was 16 years old. But I am still somewhat grateful that I was introduced to it, because it is one of my favorite books now. And I don't know what that says about me, but yeah, it is really good. I just would probably proceed with caution and don't give this book to a child. And finally, you didn't think I would make a video giving horror recommendations without mentioning Mona Awad, would you? So we have Bunny and we have Bruges, and these two books are fantastic. Genuinely 5-star reads, and I don't give out 5 stars very often, so they had to be good. This book follows a girl who is on a writing course. Whoops. This book follows a girl who is on a writing course at an arts university, and she is absolutely fascinated by her classmates, who are a preppy and cutesy clique of girls who are known as the Bunnies. And she gets drawn into their world, and it gets weird. Honestly, I think it is best to go into this book not knowing much else, just so that you get the full experience of reading it and thinking, what the fuck am I reading? But like in a good way, you know? Rouge is about a woman who is obsessed with beauty and skincare, and she is investigating the sudden death of her mother when she stumbles upon a mysterious and potentially dangerous health spa. Again, it gets weird. There are some really insightful discussions about colorism and Western beauty standards. There are references to fairy tales. Tom Cruise makes an appearance for some reason. I just love Mona Awad's writing so much. It's so trippy. She does dream sequences really well where you have no idea what is real and what's not. Her writing is just so immersive and wonderful, and plot wise, there is just no way you can predict what happens. What I wouldn't give to have my memory erased and be able to read these books for the first time again. If you have not read these yet, I am insanely jealous of you, and you need to read them right now. So, those are 13 books that I think you should read this month. Now, on to the books that I want to read this month. Starting with Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle, who has honestly become an auto-buy author for me. If he writes a horror novel, I will read it. This book, I think, is about a statistics professor and how she kind of survives this apocalyptic event where probability goes all over the place. It is apparently very existential, which I'm quite into. I enjoy an existential read. I enjoy an existential crisis. I have one every day. So this is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to diving back into Chuck Tingle's writing. Then we have Out There Screaming, an anthology of black horror edited by Jordan Peele, who did films like Us and Get Out and Nope, which I haven't watched because I don't like horror films, but I feel like I probably should. I feel like those are films that I should at least attempt at watching at some point in my life. October is Black History Month here in the UK, and while I think you ought to read diversely every month of the year and not just use whatever History Month or Heritage Month as an excuse to just pick up one or two books by diverse authors, I think now is the perfect time to pick this up anyway. I think anthology books are a really good way to explore authors that are new to you without fully committing to a full on novel. Like, there are so many authors here that I haven't read before, and who knows, I might come out this book with a whole load of book recommendations by these authors. So, yeah, I'm very excited to read this. Then we have Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung. This is actually a book that I'm reading for a separate challenge that I am currently in the process of filming and will probably become the next video I post after this. So yeah, there's that. But the reason I chose this book was A, because it is kind of weird and horror-ish, and I thought that fit October perfectly, and also it is a translated book. and I've been trying to read more translated fiction this year. It's kind of been one of my long-term goals of the year, and it's been going quite well so far. But yeah, I'm excited to get to this. I have heard really good things. So yeah, I'm very late to the party, but I'm excited to read it. And then finally, we have You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. I have been meaning to read Andrew Joseph White's books for ages. I have had nothing but good things about them, and I have always been tempted to pick them up whenever I stop in a bookshop. But yeah, now is the time because this is his adult horror debut, and I managed to find the Waterstones exclusive edition with these incredible sprayed edges. Hello, look, it's worms. That is so cool. I am obsessed, honestly, and I just know I'm going to enjoy this. I have very high expectations, and yeah, if I do, when I do, I will definitely be reading more of his writing for sure. So, yeah, those are the books that I am hoping to read this month. Who knows if I will actually get to them, but fingers crossed. I don't really have any plans in October. I'm not particularly busy, so I will be spending a lot of time reading. So hopefully I will get to them. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. If you have read any of these books I mentioned in this video, let me know what you thought of them in the comments. And also if you have any more recommendations for horror books or weird girl lit generally, please also leave them in the comments. I love getting book recommendations because it just gives me an excuse to buy more books. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, Storygraph, Blue Sky. My username on all those platforms is @WithLivJones for even more bookish content. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Happy Halloween. Bye.